Welcome back to Movin' Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. It's the podcast where we watch the Great Muppet Caper 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Ryan Rowe.
And I'm your other host, Anthony Strand.
And today we're very happy to have a return guest back with us from last week. Introduce yourself, please, return guest.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Garland, and I'm the co-editor of 2 books about Jim Henson and the Muppets and Jim Henson's films and works.
Thank you so much for coming back to join us again.
No problem. Glad to be here.
And today we are watching minutes 13 and 14 of the Great Muppet Caper, in which Kermit, Fozzie, and Gonzo arrive at the Happiness Hotel, and the staff and residents of the Happiness Hotel start singing the song Happiness Hotel. We start with the Muppets getting thrown out of their bus because it's their bus stop, and they crash land on the sidewalk across from the Happiness Hotel. Kermit comments on what a terrible crash landing it was, and Gonzo says they'll just have to do it again. Gonzo is such a, he just loves anything painful and dangerous in this movie.
He's always a masochist, yeah.
Right, but this one, I mean, I feel like, even, on the show, he talks about his art, a lot.
Right.
And in the Muppet movie, he mostly talks about plumbing. And in this one, he's just kind of like, oh, yeah, pain. Oh, blacking out. Oh, constantly. It's great.
Yeah, they just had to come up with something for him to do or talk about.
But there is that episode, the John Cleese episode in the Muppet Show, where he gets his arms pulled out by the cannonball, and then John Cleese is trying to pull them back and keeps pulling him. So, I mean, that's right. That really ties in with Gonzo's yearning for pain.
He's into it.
Yeah, he has a very different tolerance for pain from everybody else. And
Right.
and then, of course,
definitely.
John Cleese is in this movie, so it ties in.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I love the absolutely brutal, just thud sound effect as they hit the sidewalk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ryan said it was their bus stop, but the bus does not stop.
Yeah, they just get thrown out of the bus.
Yeah, just like the plane. So
Right. But I feel like that, we talked about how this movie feels a lot more artificial than the Muppet movie, but that sound effect might be the most realistic thing in this mostly not realistic movie. It's just bonk, and Kermit even says that was terrible.
Right.
Obviously, like you say, it's a setup for Gonzo to say, no, it was great, whatever. But.
So now I want you to keep an eye out and see if there's anything else in the rest of this movie that feels as realistic as that sound effect.
I feel like they have broken bones. So, yeah. We'll see.
And speaking of things feeling real or artificial, there's a cool little sort of puppet filmmaking trick when we see them on the sidewalk across the street from the hotel. This has to be filmed in a studio where the puppeteers are sticking their hands up through the fake sidewalk. But then when we see what they're looking at across the street, that's a real exterior location of this building in London.
Oh, yeah.
So just one of those things that you don't notice until you've seen this movie as many times as we have.
Sure.
This building is still there in London. It's at 134 Westbourne Terrace. So if anyone out there is listening in London, go by and take a picture of yourself in front of the Happiness Hotel. So then, we should also mention Fozzie's line, if that's the Happiness Hotel, I'd hate to see what the sad one looks like.
Which was probably my brother's favorite line in this.
It's a great joke.
My younger brother, he would talk about that a lot. You bring up Great Muppet Caper. That's the one.
Yeah, and just the fact that the name of the hotel itself is a joke.
All right.
Very clever. The inside of the hotel is shabby too. As they go inside, we see how worn down and dilapidated everything is. There's this thing when they go inside, we hear snoring.
Well, back up a bit. You went inside, but you didn't check the joke about where the hotel is. The sign outside the hotel says it's Cheapside.
Oh, is that a street sign?
There's a street sign outside the hotel. It says Cheapside. Cheapside is a real street in London. It is not cheap. It's a major market area. It was for hundreds of years, one of the major produce markets in London, but it's actually in the city of London. The city is the tiny little most expensive part of the Greater London area. So Cheapside is nothing cheap. It wasn't cheap then. It's not cheap now. But it's such a great joke to say that the hotel is on the cheap side.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist it. So the sign outside says Cheapside, which is not where this hotel is, and it wouldn't be free if it was. But it's such a great little punny joke. They just had to have it.
That's wonderful.
That's remarkable. I never really gave that sign a second thought. I just thought, I don't know, Cheapside meant it's a really cheap hotel, but that's really cool.
It's a real place in London, and it's funny because every time I see the outside of the Happiness Hotel, it reminds me of this youth hostel that was next to a cheap hotel where I stayed in London many years ago. And like we actually called the youth hostel the Happiness Hotel the week we were staying there. We would look over. Yeah, there would be all of these sort of hairy bohemian college students with backpacks and the heavy reek of pot smoke wafting out the windows and all these sort of bedraggled flags. And it was just really funky. It really put the O in bohemian. It was just this amazing location. And our hotel was not a lot better because we were younger and pretty broke too. And it was just every time I see the Happiness Hotel, I remember that trip and what it was like to walk out every morning and just see these stoned college student tourists kind of lying in the open windows of this youth hostel. Wow. And I would think, the Muppets are probably in there somewhere. They're probably staying in this very place.
That also makes me wonder what the Happiness Hotel smells like, which is not something I
Well, if you can learn to stand the smell, it's a pretty good place. So
yeah, like what exactly is that smell? Probably would rather not think about it.
Body odor and patchouli.
Yes. Yeah, so
now you can go inside, but I just had to back us up because of that Cheapside joke, which made me laugh when I saw it in the film.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
That's great, yeah.
So this thing, when they walk in, there's a shot of the lobby, and there's a chair with what I think is just like a sort of a large oblong pillow. Mm-hmm. And we're hearing this snoring, which turns out to be Pops, but for a long time when I was a kid, I thought that the thing on the chair was a Muppet dog and that the dog was snoring.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. You don't get a really good look at this lumpy, fuzzy thing, and you think, well, surely that's another character over there.
Right, you just kind of assume it would be. It looks like it kind of has a bulbous nose and kind of wrinkles where the eyes would be. So
what you're saying is that if you're making a movie where most of the characters are fuzzy, you don't want to leave fuzzy objects laying around.
Right. Don't leave anything that looks like it could be a Muppet if it's not a Muppet.
Because you expect it to grow eyes and start dancing around.
Yes, right, yeah. And then I'm disappointed when it doesn't.
Or eat the Muppet newscast guy.
Right. But it's not a pillow snoring. It's Pops.
And who is Pops, Ryan?
Who is Pops? Because this is, as far as I know, the film debut of Pops.
Pops. Well, it's definitely his film debut because he didn't exist until season 5 of the Muppet Show.
Right.
And the Muppet movie came out during season 3.
Yeah, so he's a later addition to the cast of the Muppet Show. In the 5th season, it's only the 5th season. He serves a somewhat similar role to what he's doing here, where he's kind of the doorman at the Muppet Theater who greets the guest stars when they come in, although he generally doesn't know who any of them are. And so it's fun to see him here kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, the whole interior of the hotel just sort of becomes a grungier version of the Muppet Theater, where you have the whole cast basically is holed up in this joint, and Pop's kind of being the gatekeeper there, the desk clerk. You kind of feel like, oh, now we're on familiar territory. This is the environment of the show. Right. And so then you're not surprised to see all of these different characters popping in and out of the doors and singing.
Right, and they can break into a musical number at any time.
Exactly.
Well, and that's what I think is remarkable, is that in the Muppet movie, we very methodically meet the characters one by one. It's like, here's Fozzie Bear.
Each one is... Yeah, they're introduced very intentionally.
Right, whereas here it's just kind of like, hey, look, everybody, Ralph's in the frame.
Right, it's like,
is that Wayne and Wanda in the background? Yeah, you just have all of these different characters. And Sam, is there for some reason.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Why is he staying here? This seems like the last place on earth that he would choose to stay.
It's cheap.
I guess.
Well, and that's And that's a joke that they give him in Muppet Family Christmas when they're all at Fozzie's mom's house. And Sam's first line in that special is, "Why am I here?"
Yes. Yeah, he could have definitely had the same line here.
Yeah. But, I mean, the Jug Band are there. It's great. It's so great to see all these people.
Yeah,
and very not
there.
English. They're not English characters inside the Happiness Hotel.
Right, yeah, so everyone is very excited that someone is actually checking into the hotel, which causes them to go into the song. And it just sounds like there's a lot of banjo. It's sort of country flavored. It does not sound like a song that you would expect to hear when you arrive in London.
Right.
But it's such an earworm.
Oh yeah.
Well, Happiness Hotel is an insidious earworm. Once you watch the movie again, you will sing Happiness Hotel for the next 2 weeks. So be warned if you're listening to the podcast.
Yeah, and it's funny, the lyrics are pretty much just all about how terrible
it is. And yet it's friendly and accessible, and
they welcome everyone.
Of all the problems. Yeah.
Right. Well, and I love, like, Pops gets to sing lead at the beginning. And Jerry Nelson is so great at this kind of countryish stuff that it would be a shame if it was a more, traditional show tune or something.
That's true.
Because I feel like it's like Jerry Nelson in his element,
Yes.
It does have that Bremen town musicians, folksy twang quality to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are y'all fixing to pay? You're like,
right.
Which I love that Sneak Out in the Middle of the Night is one of the
very popular
legitimate
choice
options that they are offered.
Well, let me ask you this though: have you heard the word "fixin" used in that context before?
Constantly. I live in the Deep South.
Right. Well, so growing up in Texas, I heard "fixin" as usually something that's about to happen, right away. As in,
I thought you're going to pay now, but
right, like it's fixing to rain. You would say when it's thunder outside, or like
I'm fixing to eat.
Yes, exactly. We're fixing to eat supper.
We're always fixing to eat,
right? When the food is on the table, you say it when it's about to happen. But how are you fixing to pay seems strange to me because they're going to pay later. They're going to pay when they check out.
Well, they're not going to pay later. They're going to sneak out in the middle of the night.
I never thought about it because, unlike you two, I'm from North Dakota.
Right.
So we don't.
They don't say fixing to.
We don't. We don't say fixing to. We say, so what are you just about to do? Just about, always. I'm just about to go outside,
It's a weird use of fixing, and yet it really locates Pops regionally in some way.
Sure, yeah.
So Pops is not from North Dakota.
But he could be from Alabama.
Absolutely.
There you go.
So yeah, do you have any, pretty much the rest of this is
singing.
Happiness Hotel, yeah. Do you have any favorite lyrics or favorite moments? There's a lot of just little business going on with the characters. Jennifer, I'll start with you.
The whole song, like I said, it's so catchy, and I love the rats, Rizzo and the bellhops.
I think this is Rizzo's movie debut also.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not only Rizzo's movie debut. Steve Whitmire doesn't have any lines in the Muppet movie.
True.
So if you don't mind friendly animals and can learn to stand the smell, is Steve Whitmire's first line in a Muppet movie.
Oh, that's a good trivia question.
Which feels like a really big deal because he's like the future of the Muppets. I think, at this time. I mean,
yeah, he's still kind of the new kid, or at least the newish kid.
Right. I mean,
and you get that. You get another one of those little, puppetry tricks where how are we seeing the rats run around and.
I love that stuff. I love those little scurrying legs.
I guess I'm actually not sure how they do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Good question.
Is that remote?
I think it's more robotics,
it could
remote
be
controlled robotics stuff. Because then they have that one later where they're after this scene ends where Rizzo and the other rats are carrying the bags,
right?
And that's very clearly a remote controlled bit where they're in this little row, right? And the way their legs move, it's kind of like the way you see them on the other Muppets on the bicycles. They have that very regular motion to them.
True.
Right. Huh.
I love the song. I love how terrible the hotel is.
Yeah, well, they're flies. We see Pops swat a fly right in front of his customers.
Which always seems like a lost opportunity for a Kermit joke somehow.
Oh, interesting. Are you going to eat that?
Well, in the first movie, when we see Kermit in the swamp at the beginning, he is eating flies, and we see jokes about him eating flies in other places. And so then when they enter the hotel, there's this fly who's very noticeably noisy, and Pops kills it, and it just kind of goes by without. There's no frog fly joke.
Yeah,
and it just seems like there should have been.
Yeah, for sure.
It's also kind of odd to me that if you look closely, there is a very small animated fly that pops.
Yeah, it's very obviously animated.
Yeah, it just seems unnecessary to me. We hear the sound and we can see him swatting, so we know what he's doing.
Well, I think throughout the Great Muppet Caper, they take risks with the puppetry and with animation, with all these different techniques and all these different effects, and some of them pay off, and some of them don't. And the fly is just a tiny example of one that it doesn't quite work. Why did you do that?
I mean, it's just kind of like whatever.
Yeah, but they take much bigger risks on other things than that. Like the Miss Piggy suit stuff. So
yeah, that's true.
I think that the whole movie, they're sort of testing the boundary. What can we get away with? What will look good on the big screen? How can we make this, weird puppetry effect work, or attempt to make it work? Because sometimes it just doesn't look quite right. Especially look at it now. You go back and watch the older movies again, you can kind of see things that they tried and maybe should have thought twice about.
Yeah. But yeah, it's cool that they were willing to try anything.
Yeah, and they knew kids would let them get away with it anyway, So.
Yes.
We were not going to be horribly critical. We were just happy to see the Muppets on the big screen.
Right.
Sure. And then I'm excited to see Gaffer the backstage cat.
Yes, another Muppet making her motion picture debut. Actually, we talked about this recently, I think, on the Tough Pigs forum. Did we ever decide if Gaffer is male or female?
I think that No, because like the argument was made that in the song the cat came back, the cat is male, right? But I don't.
No, that cat is female. She wouldn't stay away.
That cat is female, but that doesn't necessarily mean Gaffer is female, right? Like
it's just the cat in the song, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the cat's playing a role. Kathy Mullen is the performer,
right?
Who is the woman, of course. But and who we've already seen in this movie, riding in the taxi cab.
Yes, we mentioned before Kathy Mullen, probably most prominently the performer of Moki and Cotterpin on Fraggle Rock.
Right.
So yeah, I always think of Gaffer as a female cat.
Yeah, because of Kathy, probably. Right.
Probably.
Like if Dave Goles was playing that cat, you'd default to male, right? Right. I mean,
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
But anyways, Gaffer, great design. A cat wearing an eye patch. Love that puppet. So,
dangerously close to that radiator, which you think is going to pay off with her like screeching and running away, but that never happens.
Cats, they really like to be warm.
I guess that's what it is. Yeah.
My cat sleeps on the heating vent all day long.
Huh. Your cat is a regular
It's a totally realistic thing for Gaffer to do.
Yeah. There you go. You have the proof.
Yep.
Shortly after Gaffer's appearance, there's a shot that I love where it's kind of down the hall of the hotel, and Muppets just pop out of every doorway, every side of the frame. I love it.
Right. Well, like we talked, it's just this movie is they go into a hotel. I mean, they go into a hotel, and it is overflowing with Muppets all at once. There's Crazy Harry. Hey, there's New Zealand. Hey, there's Lips.
Right, this scene, it's Floyd, the Chicken, Janice, Crazy Harry, Ralph Scooter, Lips, Dr. Teeth, New Zealand. Oh, and Annie Sue.
Yeah.
Everyone.
The whole
everyone.
Muppet Theater is there, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had mentioned earlier that in our last episode that everything about the Great Muppet Caper kind of calls back different old movie tropes and themes, and it has a lot of reworking, that kind of thing. I don't think it's necessarily intentional, but when I hear Happiness Hotel, the number, I think about Honeymoon Hotel from Footlight Parade from the 1930s to 1933.
I have seen Footlight Parade, but I don't remember.
And it's the same kind of thing where like the people go into the hotel and they sing about the hotel, and they're all the people who are staying in the hotel. Only Honeymoon Hotel is all about having sex on your honeymoon, because Busby Berkeley seems to think that's a great idea. And Happiness Hotel is all about how terrible the hotel is. But when they sing at the Happiness Hotel, I can kind of hear the echo of at the Honeymoon Hotel. So there's this, and especially it comes back into my brain later when we're at the Dubonnet Club, because that becomes such a 1930s kind of a musical. The Dubonnet Club, everything about it could just have been lifted right out of a film from the 30s.
Right.
And so the Honeymoon Hotel number, to me, echoes, the Happiness Hotel number echoes Honeymoon Hotel in kind of a weird little brain twitchy way. And I have no idea if that was a conscious thing or if it's just the way in which old movies kind of permeate Great Muppet Caper.
Yeah, it might have just been there on their brains somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe only Joe Raposo could have told us.
Yeah, but that's cool. Sounds like I gotta watch. No, unfortunately. But it sounds like I gotta watch Footlight Parade again.
You can watch all of Busby Berkeley again. It's good.
I really
good
should, yeah. I should go back to all this.
There's a reason they made those movies during the Depression.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So that just about wraps it up. There's a shot at the end with Kermit about to ask Ralph a question, which is fun because it's Jim Henson talking to Jim Henson. But that gets cut off, so we don't know what the question is until next week. So do either of you have... What's that?
That's the end of our bit for today.
That's the end of our clip, yeah. So do you have any other comments on these minutes? Jennifer, starting with you.
I'm so impressed at how terrible the hotel is, that it is like a youth hostel, but it's a post-apocalyptic youth hostel.
Yeah.
That is just the worst, the pits. And I just really enjoy seeing how terrible it is every time they get to it, and that I think the bus terminal would have been the more hygienic choice.
I think a post-apocalyptic youth hostel needs to be the title of this episode.
Okay. Actually, that reminds me. I didn't write this down in my notes, but in that draft of the screenplay, it's described the hotel is described as looking like something from London after the Blitz.
Which
is a little bit insensitive, perhaps.
It's
but
dark.
Yeah, but
in reality, the real cheap side was heavily damaged in the Blitz, and a lot of it was rebuilt afterwards. So if the Happiness Hotel really was on cheap side, then it would have been heavily damaged in the Blitz.
So this might be historically accurate.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, Anthony, did you have anything else?
Just there's a bit of business when Pops is talking to them about price, how are you fixing to pay? He slaps the table and makes a lamp knock off the table, like fall.
And he looks over at it.
And he looks down at it and keeps talking. I think that's such a great touch.
I love all those little tiny moments like that.
Right, and then he decides he doesn't care and starts dancing. Like that it's such a great little character thing, and I don't know if it was unintentional or what, but it really works.
Yeah, it's terrific.
It also kind of mirrors the earlier scene with Mr. Tarkanian, where every time he slaps his table, things are flying off.
Everybody jumps up. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole staff room jumps.
Right. So there's just a lot of table slapping and making things move.
The filmmakers are just going the extra mile. Why just slap a table? Why not slap a table and have something fall or fly off of it?
Right. Oh, absolutely. Co-signed 100%.
We're getting our the bang for our buck here. All right, and with that, we will wrap up for this week. Listeners, please check out toughpigs.com on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, and all of those things. I don't know if we mentioned this. In addition to all the usual great stuff that we do, we're right in the middle of reviewing every season of Sesame Street.
Cool.
So that's exciting. You should go read all of those. And you can find me on Twitter at @MeRyanRowe, and Anthony is on Twitter at @ZeppoMarxist. Jennifer, where can people find you on the internet?
I'm on Twitter at Jennifer Garland, Garlen. I use my real name on Twitter because I'm a crazy person that way. And I also have a classic movie blog called Virtual Virago.
So definitely check that out. And if you're so inclined, please give us a positive review on iTunes or wherever else you can give us a positive review. And tell all your friends about the show. And join us again next week for another episode of Movin' Right Along. See you then.
Very popular choice.